All right, America. Let's pick this back up about the freshman mass shooter, the one that's just latched onto the idea, just the idea, the idea, the idea, the idea, only the idea, not the taste. He's just now he's got a flirtation going. It's like when he sees a little girl in high school. When you first get to high school, and there's so many little girls that it just blows your mind how many little girls there, and it's just so many ideas, so many flirtatious ideas. He's just flirting with ideas. The idea of killing. He hasn't moved a seed. He hasn't got a seed planted yet that's going to grab a hold of the soil of his mind and grow a tree that's going to eventually lead to a harvest of extreme violence. He doesn't have that yet. He's not growing any fruit. Things aren't happening that are dictating growth to that violent fruit tree. He doesn't have the seed in him yet. Just an idea to kill. He's just thinking about it. Comes and goes in one ear, out the other. Hits him every now and then. Every other day, he picks it up. Somebody will do or say something that'll piss him off. And he just goes to that idea. Man, I wish I'd just kill that. He just don't know. I wish I'd kill that old man for smacking my mom around. Just an idea. No more. But that idea is beginning to focus him on other things in his life. That idea to kill, because now that he has an idea to kill, he's beginning to look at the things in his life, the taste of violence in his life already, that is causing this idea to become a leaning toward a seed. He thinks back to his life, looks back to the pain-filled life, that if he has a pain-filled life, may not have no pain at all. But things are occurring in his life that are causing him to take that idea to kill. And now he's getting a taste of violence. A taste. You know what a taste is? They give you stuff to sample at the ice cream parlor so you can get a taste for it. I'm trying to get this where it's not got this thing dangling around. When you get a taste for violence and things happen in your life, you go back to that taste. It's no longer just an idea. The idea has moved to a taste of violence. You have a taste for violence. Maybe not outright just being violent. A taste of violence. You're not being violent. You're not beating people up. You're not big enough to be a bully. Bullies really are the ones that launch out and do this. Bullies got their own agenda to fulfill. They're busy being bullies. They're not being bullied. But the kids that are being bullied, rarely, the ones that are being bullied will rise up and use that as a taste of violence. It's a piece of violence that's either active in their mind or has taken place in their life or is taking place in their life. But it's there, it's a taste. It's a real taste of violence. Slapped around, molested, beat up, not chosen, picked wrong, disease, sickness, family members, family split up, divorce, early on, siblings are bullies, whatever the case is. Now he's got a taste for violence. He's just a freshman. So he spends the first part of his freshman life flirting with the idea, getting to know the taste of violence, getting to have that taste of violence in his life. But he's progressing along. Always remember that to get to the extreme act of violence, you have to progress. It's a progression. You progress along. You don't stay still. It's like a weightlifter. He begins to see that the more he flirts with things, the more he entertains things, the more they become part of his psyche, the more they become part of his life, the more they gain importance in his mind's eye. And now he's got a taste of violence. And the tragedy of the taste of violence is that he begins to see himself not so much anymore on the receiving end of it, but on the dispensing end of it. Now all of a sudden, instead of being the recipient of violence, in his mind's eye with that idea to kill, now he has a taste of violence that's been dumped on him all his life, or not at all, but nevertheless, it's still a taste of violence. Now all of a sudden, things happen in his life where he has matured. He's got a little size on him, got a little bit of bravado in that brain of his, where he has now turned the script around. He has turned that thinking of him having to always be on the receiving end of it. We don't even see this transition. Now all of a sudden he doesn't want to receive any more of it. He's had enough. And in that having enough, he begins to see himself. That's not to say he doesn't still get it dished on him or put on him or dumped on him. He still has all that happening. But he's at that point now where he's beginning to fight back. Maybe not physically, but mentally he's beginning to say, I've had enough of this. I don't need to have this anymore. I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to turn it around. And only in his mind, he begins to physically see himself in his imagination and the power of imagination. Because remember, that's what most of these kids have. That's what eludes us, because we don't understand the strength of their imagination. A child that is alone is the most creative child. Look at Robin Williams, how he talked about he used to set up thousands of little toy soldiers and have full-scale wars that lasted months, battles and wars with his little toy green soldiers, because his imagination is an only child, if I remember the story right. But the imagination of an only child, the imagination of a school shooter, a mass shooter, is incredibly strong. It's a strong imagination. That's what carries them. That's what floats them along. That's what brings them to a point where the imagination transforms into reality. And we cannot for the life of us understand how somebody can stick a barrel of a gun in the face and with respect and awe for the victims. How they can stick a gun in the face of a 7-year-old and just blow the brains out. And I'm not trying to be graphic. I want people to start realizing the power of these people's minds that are doing this, and why they continue to elude us and stay hidden and stay off the radar. Because their mind, the most powerful thing in the universe, the most powerful entity on the planet, the mind, the human mind, is imagining that now I don't have to be on the receiving end. Now I've got a taste for violence. Now I can be the one that dishes it out. And all of a sudden his little freshman year, summer's come, and he's going to be a sophomore. I'll pick up being a sophomore. I'm at 7 minutes on these videos. He's going to be a sophomore now. Things are going to begin to change for him. Why? Because he's bringing the change. That's enough for now.